Welcome back. You know, typically when we invite documentarians on this program, they've covered stuff like politics, war, or the always fun issue of education reform. But every once in a while, there's a documentary that covers the lighter side of life, and it comes along that captures your attention. Well, one such film, titled 5, 6, 7, 8, it follows a troupe of young jazz dancers from the Hudson Valley over the course of a year. And we as viewers, you'll follow them through their somewhat tumultuous journey to greater maturity. Now, the documentary, it focuses on dance, but it gets to the heart of the American teenage experience, and we know that's rife with high hopes and small disappointments. Now, I sat down with the film's creator yesterday, and here is a look at 5, 6, 7, 8.
Why are you sitting on the ground outside of a dance studio under an umbrella on Sunday morning?
To avoid making breakfast for my children on a Sunday and to register 2 of my daughters for dance class.
Nova is crazy.
I mean, if we only had one breakdown in time, we're doing really well.
I don't care. This is my time. The company time.
If you don't have it, you'll be cut. We need to remember that we're a big family here. You know, you don't all have to be best friends. That's okay. But you always have to respect one another, and you work together.
I'm not even kidding when I say that you guys are my life.
And now let's bring in the man who made that documentary, Andy Milkis. Andy, a visual effects artist and travels the world as a visual effects supervisor. This is directorial debut. All right, Andy, first of all, as somebody with young girls who's petrified of the teenage years here, what possessed you to get into this and to really dedicate more than a year of your life to a project?
Rich, thank you very much for having me. I really fell into this subject totally by accident and then reluctantly. Jennifer Dell, who owns the Pulse and is the star of the movie, is one of my wife's best friends. And when she opened up her studio, she asked me, would I help her by videotaping dance recitals and doing senior profiles of the kids who were graduating. And I reluctantly said yes, but I'm so glad I did, because once I walked through the doors of that place, I just fell in love with it.
Let's show another clip. Now, a lot of people think, obviously, all the time and a lot of money and the effort certainly spent on dance classes, it goes for naught if you don't get to be a pro at the end of this whole journey here. But the film, it seems, at least to me, to suggest that one of the things these students can take away from the time in the studio, whether or not they become a professional dancer, is the discipline and the sense of dedication they have to do to this craft. Now, here is Jennifer Dell, who we just heard about. She's the artistic director of the Pulse Dance Studio, and she talks about one of her students, a team captain who worked her way up to that very position.
As a child who's had to really overcome some difficulties in her dancing, I don't think it's any secret that she's not somebody who just waltzed into a dance class and was pulling off triple pirouettes. She has had to work hard for everything that she's gotten. And prior to going into Nova Jazz 2, she had approached me and said I was really interested in this, and I really didn't think she was ready to take on all the different dances. And I said, but you know what? If you want to prove to me that I'm wrong, I will give you a spot in Nova Jazz 2. And sure enough, she contacted the captain of Nova Jazz at that time and spent every single week for 45 minutes having a private lesson on specific skills that she would need to get herself into Nova Jazz 2. And I had a great deal of respect for that.
1, 2, 3, yeah, left. Come back to center. I think this is a really good experience for me. I think it's like great to have a leadership role, and it really, like, you get to know yourself also while you're doing this.
Andy, on average, how many years have these kids put in, and how many hours a week do they have to put towards this, and I guess also open their wallets?
In terms of time, some of them have been there since they were 5 years old, so 12, 13 years. You know, as the longer they stay in the program, they're there sometimes 5, 6 days a week. You know, this is on top of school and friends and everything else that goes along with being a teenager.
Too, right?
There's that aspect too. It's not free.
Pro bono,
It's not a non-for-profit organization, I believe, in Pulse. But you know, one thing that I found after spending so much time with these kids is it's remarkable how many of them just turn out to be amazing young adults. I mean, when I would sit down with these kids and get an interview from them, every single one of them was just so eloquent and clear. It was remarkable.
They're all going to college, or do they? How many go on to dance professionally?
You know, from the film, I think one went on to study dance. There was one who went for pre-med. And
no regrets for all the time and all the hours and all the sacrifices they made?
No, I mean, when you ask them, and I certainly did, you know, why do you do this? It's, they love it. It gives them something to focus on and a place to channel their energies or stress or anything else that's bothering them outside of dance when they're there. All that goes away and they just kind of focus on what they're doing.
Now, one of the principal characters throughout this, not just the kids, but also Jennifer Dell. And as you can see throughout the film, she's pretty tough on the students, very demanding, nothing less than complete devotion was going to cut it. Take a listen.
I don't care what you do last night, you don't come in here tired. And if you are tired, I don't want to see it. Some of you look exhausted. This is my time. The company time.
If we can get through a weekend, I mean, if we only had one breakdown in cry, we're doing really well.
You must wear false eyelashes. We will check your eyes. If you do not have them on, you don't dance.
If you don't have it, you'll be cut. They need to be kicked in the butt to make it understand that it's not okay to be lazy.
By the way, these are real eyelashes, so I'm okay. Yeah, she's
perfect. You can dance.
She's pretty tough, right?
Oh, definitely. I used to call her Drill Sergeant Dell.
Did you know that part of her before you went into the studio and spent so much time?
Yeah, I've known Jen for a while, and that was her. She didn't put on a face for the film, and she didn't dial it down either. That's totally her.
How do the kids at the end relate to it? I mean, they mutter under the breath when she walks away, or do they appreciate the discipline?
You know, the kids, they behave the way that teenagers do. You know, they might complain at the moment, but they're all still there. They all come back next year. After they graduate and look back on it, they really see that Jen was a really powerful force in their lives and always had their best interests at heart, even if it was tough love.
Excellent. And we want to remind everybody there's a special screening for this. In fact, coming up this Monday in Bedford Hills, there is going to be a final screening for this that I want to remind everybody about. Again, the film 5678 will be screened at the Pulse Performing Arts Studio Monday, August 30th at 7:30 p.m. Thank you very much.
My
and I wish you the best of luck to you.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me.